Hello. Thank you once again for tuning into my channel. Today we're doing, it might be a boring one for a lot of folks, but I am going to be doing my first batch of pens with the new Turner's Warehouse triple start stainless steel mandrels and some triple start taps and dies. I have only done one triple start thread pen up to this date, a gift for my girlfriend's friend, and we're going to be doing some more. So we've got these for materials to work with today. We've got some Vortex from Penco. We've got an abalone blank from Turner's Warehouse. We have a, I believe this is the Derby Day colorway from Unbelievable Blanks. And some blue in the section and the cap for that one. And then we've got this really cool one with some color shiftiness to it from also Turner's Warehouse. I don't think this is one that they have available for purchase just yet. I think this is a new colorway that they were messing around with when I was there the other day. So we're going to give these a shot and see how it goes. There's not going to be much talking in this one. I'll probably put some music over it, but I'm just going to time-lapse this and crank. See what we can get done today in our working time. So I will catch you guys on the flip side. I may jump in with some voiceover at some point to explain what I'm doing. Otherwise, enjoy the chaos and some music. Peace. Okay, well, in about an hour, we have 4 drilled and threaded sections. An hour to knock that out for me is super quick compared to the past, and it's all thanks to that tenon cutter. This would probably have taken me at least an hour and a half to do these without the tenon cutter and having to manually size these tenons for threading. So, very happy to have picked that guy up. And yeah, we are going to take a quick little break here, and then I will be back to keep going on getting some bodies ready. So we will jump back in with some more time lapsing in just a minute. And that is 4 bodies all roughed out. There's a couple of these that are a little wibbly wobbly on the mandrel and aren't going to be the straightest overall. Still working out a couple things with this tap and die holder and getting things, you know, straight and all of that goodness. That being said, all of these are going to be close enough that once everything's shaped, you're not going to be able to notice that things might be a little bit wonky. So the other thing too is with some of the wonkiness I was noticing, it could very well just be threads being full of some stuff. There's enough play in the threads that if something is blocking you know, the ability for things to fully seat together, then you might have some issues with things not sitting straight. So before we do any shaping, we will be cleaning these out well and making sure that there's no dust or debris built up in the thread channels there. there. So this first one that I did notice that I overcompensated a touch. The tenon cutter, when setting it with the bushing, has been a little teeny bit wide, so I set it a little slimmer than the bushing, and it cut this a little slim. So I'm hoping that this will bite properly with the cap threads. If not, I will have to figure something else out. I'll have to pair this body with some other option for turning this into a 12mm thread instead of a 13. That being said, I do believe that there's plenty of meat here for this pen to work just fine. So I'm going to swap back to time-lapsing, and we will knock out the caps for these guys and see how much more I feel like doing for today. I have some errands that I may need to run, so I might knock that out a little bit later. But yeah, start on our caps for now. Okay, and that is for caps, all drilled out and ready to go. I think we're going to be a little bit close on dimensions for these, as they're all drilled at least 65mm deep. So this one is 67, so it's even going to be a little bit closer to the end than that. This should still be plenty of room to do all of our shaping and whatnot. So I am excited to see how these guys go. We've got our cat mandrel there, and they all thread on beautifully. They're nice and tight in there. Not cross-threaded. It's just what we think. Anyway, before I do too much playing around with these, I do want to make sure I get them cleaned out so that we are not messing up any threads. But we're cranking. It is a hot one today. I do have my little swamp cooler going, so you can probably hear the fan going right now. And in one of my earlier clips today, you could probably hear the water dripping as well. I turned that off for talking to you guys. But yeah, I think with how warm it is, I may call it a day with this. But yeah, this is a good bit of progress. We worked for about 4 hours on this stuff so far today, so not a ton of working time, but you know, decent amount of progress for doing this. I gotta say, over the course of these 4 pens, that tenon cutter probably saved me a minimum of half an hour total, I would say. It's definitely much quicker to get these knocked out with that guy, especially if I am batching things. So I will catch you guys in the next clip, which will be in a couple seconds for you and be tomorrow probably for me for doing some shaping and finishing these guys off. But yeah, see you in a moment. Okay, it's not the next day, but it's the same day. I am going to at least do some section shaping right now, and possibly also just move on to some bodies and caps. We'll see how I feel. But with that, back to some time lapse. Alrighty. Ooh. Sorry about the thing. Evap cooler, the swamp cooler. It's making drippy noises. I turned that off for a moment. We have all of our drilling and threading done for our pens. This one is actually looking really cool. I did not expect it to be this colorful inside from looking at the outside. Very neat. think I got that in frame, hopefully. Derby Day is always a very nice colorway. Can't go wrong with that. Very springtime. It's summer now. That's all right. We've got some lovely abalone. Very excited to see this guy finished up. And these Turnt Pen Cove lengths are absolutely incredible. So I think I am going to go ahead and call it a day fully. Tomorrow at some point I will jump back in with you guys on some time lapse, and we will knock out shaping our caps and whatnot for these. But yeah, this is coming along not too bad so far. Triple start threads, let's go. And man, good times. So, catch you guys later in just a minute. Alrighty, good morning. Welcome back. I don't have a lot of time right this moment. My girlfriend's getting ready so that we can go run some errands, but I have a few moments to at least do a little bit of work on some caps here. So I think I'm going to start with that. One of these, this one, I need to make a little extra consideration with, because it's the shortest blank that I have for caps currently, 75 pretty much on the dot millimeters, and the inner depth goes down to 69 just about. So I don't have a ton of room to work with for shaping up here. I may actually make this a flat top pen, which I don't normally do, but just to make sure that I don't turn this into a tube, I think I will go ahead and do that. The first thing though, before I do start with any of this, is I do want to just hit the inside edge here with a little bit of 800 grit sandpaper to knock that corner down a smidge. I don't want to do too much because this is going to be part of what gives us our nice stop. I'm going to leave a teeny bit of a shoulder on this, and that should stop nice and positively here, because with these new Turner's Warehouse mandrels, the support is a little too long for doing a stepped, like a fully stepped cap. So I need to leave a little extra space in there for the nib, so I don't have a step in here for the section to meet up against unless I make an extremely long cap. So we'll see. We may do that in the future, but for now we're going to actually take this back out, sand the inner lips of these, and then toss it back in and start shaping. So I am going to be time-lapsing that again, like I have for everything else here. So follow along, and I'll get you back with some regular time footage when we are done, or when we come back from the break, because I may get interrupted with this to go out and run errands. All right, very cool. Look at that. Ooh. Swamp cooler, so sorry. But yeah, some caps. We're doing a couple mostly flat top. A couple of our kind of standard, for me, Italian style, if you will, coned tops. But yeah, I think these are all going to turn out really, really cool. I'm very excited to see the rest of these pens. So I have to run and do some errands, but I will catch up with you guys a little later today, most likely, to get some bodies shaped and to get everything sanded and polished and finished. So thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you again in just a minute. Okie doke. We are back at it. I'm gonna knock out some bodies here. These ones, I believe we should have a lot more space in for, or space on, I guess, be the correct verbiage. We got like 78-ish millimeters deep. So you can see we have quite a bit more room for activities at the end here. So, without much further ado, let's slap on the first body and let's go. We'll actually double check this one and see. Probably check all of these and make sure how deep they are before I actually go to parting things off. But yeah, 78 pretty much on the dot for this guy, which will put us with more than enough at the end for some shaping. So I really am enjoying these Turner's Warehouse stainless steel mandrels so far. As you can see, they run pretty damn true and they're very stiff. You can deflect it a little bit out there at the end, but these have been really, really nice so far, especially on those caps for keeping the end from chattering while you're, like, after I've parted off that last little bit of waste and I'm cleaning up that ramp, that cone or flat top or whatever. This can chatter a lot on my old mandrels. These have been so solid so far. So I am unbelievably pleased with how these have come out. I will probably be doing a full review on these in not too long, but so far, so good. Very, very, very good. So I will jump into some time lapse again, and we'll catch you guys when these are done. Enjoy. Alright, beautiful. We have finished making a nice big mess. Got a couple pins ready for sanding and polishing. I think these are going to look really nice when they're done. Don't think any of them will post. Nope, probably not. I don't generally make my pens to post. If anybody's watching and wants to commission a pen, I can make them to post if you are someone that really prefers that, but I make large enough pens that I don't think you really ever need to post them. They're big. I like them. So, for now, we are going to take a quick little break, then get set up for sanding and polishing and deciding whether I want to actually fully polish everything, which probably, yeah, or if I want to leave any of these with a matte finish. I don't know. Some of them, like this Turnt Penco stuff, looks really good matte. And I really kind of like the way this one looks matte. Abalone, I go back and forth. I will almost certainly polish this guy though. And then this stuff definitely deserves a little bit of a polish because while I didn't internally polish it, there is some translucency to the body on this guy. I didn't expect so much pink in this, but yeah. Should be a cool one. So we'll come back when we're all set up to sand and polish these guys and get that knocked out. Alrighty. So we have our little rag here to protect our bed from too much water spillage. You usually don't spill a whole lot of water, but it's good to keep things protected. And then we have our water here. I do all of my sanding wet. There's just no reason not to. It gives a better finish. Fewer like major scratches. Like you're still gonna have scratches that you need to polish out, even with like 800,000 plus grit. But wet sanding, I have found, gives you far fewer like inconsistent scratch patterns. than dry sanding does. And it's way less dust as well. So super simple. I try to get a good enough finish off of my tools, an even enough finish to just start with 800 grit sandpaper. That is what I've been able to do with all of these pens. So I will be starting at 800 grit. And then I use Zona papers to polish. This is a stack of them that I've cut up into little ready-made sizes. There's 6 grits, and they're, I want to say they're like, they're a diamond grit equivalent. This is only green. Here we have some more ready cut up, and there's 600 grit, which is like a 30 micron. There's a 15 micron, which is about 1200 grit, 9 micron at 1800, 3 at 8000, 2 at 10600, and then 1 micron at 22,000 grit, roughly equivalent. So these are really nice. They're relatively quick to use. I like them a lot more than the micro mesh pads, and it's just simple. They're relatively inexpensive. This is a sheet that comes in 8.5 by 11 sizes. I cut them up into little like 1.5 inch square rectangle pieces to use, and then I just sort them out. I have found that this stuff does wear out relatively quickly in these little sizes, which is why I have the large batch of the green stuff. I tend to go through 2 or 3 pieces of green per every 1 to 2 pieces or pens, depending on how it's doing. And I just go through a lot more of that, and I found I go through the higher grits a little bit less. But as with any sanding, it's a pretty straightforward process. I sand with the lathe running, then stop, sand laterally for a little bit to try to get those radial scratches out. Once I don't really see any radial scratches when I take it off and hold it up to the light, then I'll move it on to the next grit and sand until I don't see any more of those lengthwise scratches, and then just repeat that process. I will, at least on these first few grits, my 800 grit sandpaper, my first 2 or 3 zonas, I will swap out the water in between every grit. Once I hit the last like 3 grits of zona, I found that it doesn't load up the water enough to give you, you're not going to get scratches from other grits in those higher polishing ones. And then usually, if I'm doing a full polish, I will end with Meguiar's Plastex, which is like a auto polish. And this gives you that nice, these will give you a nice scratch-free, for the most part, finish. It can take a little bit to get a scratch-free finish with them, but this will get it down to where like you really have to look for them to be able to find them. And this stuff will usually polish those completely out. This also gives you that like perpetually wet look, that like really high sheen. So I really like this stuff. I've been using it for a little while and really enjoy it. But without much further ado, I'm going to jump into this. It's kind of boring, but I'm still going to time lapse it. This shouldn't take too long, hopefully. But this is one of the longer portions of this process of making these pens. So far, up to this point, it's been about 5 hours, I would say, of work time for these 4 pens. So really not too bad. It's probably going to be another 3 to 4 hours of sanding to get these finished. So we will see how it goes. Maybe it goes quickly, you never know. But the sanding process is one where you don't really want to, skimp. You want to take your time. So without further ado, let's jump into some sanding and polishing. Okay, we are about 2 hours into sanding and have 4 grits left. We've done 3 of our grits. We've done our 800, our green zona, and our gray zona so far. So I still have my light blue, my pink, my teal, and my white to finish things up, but things are looking very, very nice so far. These are, they start to get pretty shiny pretty quickly, but you'll really start to see things pop on those last 2 grits. But very happy with how things are coming along so far. One thing that I had noticed was I left this guy a little wide, and it was rubbing on the inside of the cap before I had started my sanding, so I'm curious how this has done so far. Yeah, we're perfect. We have enough clearance. So yeah, this is going to be a nice pen. I mean, all of these are, but yeah, I really like these abalone blanks. Very cool. So I'm taking a break. I'm going to have some dinner, and then I will jump back in. I would like to try to get these finished tonight so that I can shoot them tomorrow and get things posted so people can get these in their hands. And catch you in a little bit. Okay, we're done. We have 1, 2, I'm going to put these away, 3, and 4 pens all finished up, ready to go. I'm going to take these to the shop tomorrow and shoot them and get them posted. But by the time this video comes out, these will probably already be up online. If you have managed to grab one of these for yourself, congratulations. I love how these came out. If you missed out on one of these, bummer, but reach out and we can get something made for you. Whether it's a resin pen like this or something hybrid or something along those lines. So thanks for tuning in. I know this wasn't a super informative video, more so made for, fall asleep to, a little bit of entertainment as it were. I will be having some more in-depth build videos coming relatively soon. I have one in the works right now and some more planned. So I will be doing more stuff on the channel here now that I have space to set up a camera and whatnot. So thanks again for tuning in and coming along with this particular journey, and we'll catch you next time with some more pen making shenanigans. Have fun. Bye.